Okay, this is a quick review of the Verizon Droid. I'm going to try to do this under 10 minutes, so I'm going to do this quick and fast. If you want the full written review, go to my website, redband.com, and that outlines everything I'm talking about. Alright, so this is the Droid. It is the iPhone killer, supposedly, and it really isn't. It comes close, but there's a lot of problems with the phone that will probably be worked out in the next following months or years. The phone has a 5-megapixel camera. It's got a flash. The camera is really good. It has a washed out, grainy look, though, unfortunately, which hopefully can be fixed in a software update. When compared to the iPhone, the colors seem washed out, and it has a lot of detail and everything. The video quality is amazing, though. For a phone, I love the video quality. And on my YouTube account, Let's Find Jesus, I have some samples of that. Now, the big thing is that this thing has a keyboard. The keyboard is cramp. It has this directional pad that's useless. I never even use it. It even has blank keys that looks like they just rushed this keyboard. Now, it's not completely flat. There's actually little bubbles on it. So you can get used to it. I did get used to it. I find that I have small girl hands, but I did find that I can touch it with my fingernails, and I could use it. But I find myself going to the on-screen keyboard more, and it's actually a good on-screen keyboard, and you can even download even better keyboards, so there is fixes for it. I would have liked to have seen this directional pad taken off and just have a bigger keyboard, or I would like to have had some extra width. I would have accepted that for a better keyboard. The screen is bright and beautiful. It works great. It has a better resolution than the iPhone. The touch screen is perfect. It has 3 screens. It has this screen. It has the main screen and this screen. You can actually download applications that you have to pay for money that add extra menu screens. But if you think about it, the iPhone, you have almost unlimited screens, and when you have a lot of programs, you know. Anyways, the programs on this thing when you download it are not as good as the iPhone. Yet. The Facebook application is a good example. It's not as good as the iPhone Facebook application, the Twit application, everything. It's just not as good or polished, but it's a brand new operating system. One thing that's great about it is Verizon hasn't touched it, so it's completely open. So you can pretty much, like as an example, this is a widget that I'm using that you can push and you can get the forecast and everything. It's pretty nice. Now, the problem with widgets from third parties is that it can slow down and freak out the operating system, which might be a problem, but before I installed all these widgets, I was testing it. I found that the operating system, especially having its own video card and fast processor, to be laggy. I've also had a lot of problems with it becoming unresponsive, where I'll touch a program or a menu screen, and it just doesn't do anything, and I'm pushing and pushing, and then finally it goes to it. So overall, the operating system seems pretty beta, and the fact that Verizon's the only one that has the Android 2.0 platform, I feel like we are all in a beta test. So hopefully that gets better. Now, the menu screens, the application screens, and everything seem pretty well done. If you're used to the iPhone, you're going to become frustrated because there's a lot of little things that you become used to that the Android does different, and it makes no sense. As an example, when you're on the iPhone and you want to delete a program, you push down the button, it brings up these X's, and then you just push which programs you want to delete. On here, if you want to delete a program, you have to open up your menu, go find settings, click settings, then you have to go to applications, then you have to go to manage applications, then you have to find the program that you want, you click on it, and then you have to uninstall. Seems kind of, there's some things about it where you're just like, why don't they just copy what works? The iPhone works. That's the best way to delete applications, whatever. So there's a couple things here and there that I don't like. Now, the video quality, like I said, was awesome. But one cool thing is because this is an open platform that Verizon hasn't touched, you can do things like Quick. Quick is a program that lets you stream live video on the internet using your 3G. So you can sit there, take video, stream it live, and that's just one of the good examples of how awesome this phone can be. Now, the sound quality is great, the phone quality is great, it has a great browser. The browser reminds me a lot of the iPhone browser. The only problem is it's missing multi-touch, meaning like if you want to zoom in on a website or whatever, on the iPhone you can go like that. On this phone you can't. You have to use like hardware keys, or you have to zoom pushing, the zoom button, or you can just tap it and it will zoom in. But using the multi-touch really is the way to go, and it's capable of doing it, and some third-party applications are already doing it. For some reason, it's not on this phone though, on all the main applications. So hopefully that's coming soon. There's some rumors that they don't want to get sued by Apple. I don't know if Apple owns the rights to that. I doubt it, but who knows what the reason is behind it. Let's see what else is. It has Wi-Fi. The ringtones that come with it and the sound alerts, they don't suck. For once, I'm not really rushing out to get a better ringtone. It's on the Verizon network. The Verizon network's pretty great. I haven't had any problems with reception. The battery life seems to be about the same as the iPhone. So overall, this phone is really great, and it's capable of being amazing. I really think that this phone, after they release a couple firmware updates and fix out all the bugs, I think this can be closer to the iPhone. But as it is right now, if you were to buy it, you will not think it's an iPhone killer. And if you do, you've never owned an iPhone. So iPhone users, if you're thinking about switching to this, wait a couple months. Wait for a better phone to come out. Wait for a phone that has a better keyboard, which is supposedly on the way. All right, so what are things I don't like? Besides the keyboard being crampy, you're going to find yourself always touching these buttons, especially if you're in camera mode or something. You'll find I keep on always hitting this button, and these buttons become unresponsive a lot, meaning there's many times where I'm hitting it and it doesn't come up or something. And I always find myself hitting the power buttons, and it's just all the buttons on this phone you'll hit by mistake. Another thing I don't like is when you're in sleep mode, there's no way to turn it off sleep mode except this one tiny little power button. So on the iPhone you can push the middle button, you can push this button, you could only hit this button. I'm sure I would get used to it, but it seems pretty annoying. What else? It only has 256 megabytes internal memory, and it has a memory card. When you install applications, all the applications have to be installed on the 256 internal only. So you're not going to find a lot of hardcore games on this. So if you're a gamer, I would stick with the iPhone. I don't know why they decided to do that, and there is some hacks that let you install stuff on the memory card, like a Trio or a BlackBerry. But as it comes, the limitations of it seem pretty annoying. The camera, like I said, is questionable. Hopefully they fix it. The music program on there, especially coming from an iPhone, sucks. It seems like they rushed it out, and hopefully they're going to be updating the music program. It's just very basic. The menus and everything seem very beta and rushed, and a lot of the stuff doesn't make sense. So if you're new to smartphones, or if you're just not very techy, I don't recommend this phone at all, because it is confusing. There's no physical end key. Like if you're on a phone call and you want to hit end, you have to do it through the touchscreen. And the problem is that there's a sensor, so when you're holding it up to your ear, it turns off the screen so it saves battery. A lot of times this screen doesn't come back on, so you're trying to end a call and you can't even see anything. It's a very big problem. I do not like that. Hopefully they're going to fix that with a firmware update. It only comes with a power cable and a USB cable, and it comes with no manual or headphones. This is one phone that needs a manual, and it doesn't come with a manual. The widgets, for the most part, are pretty useless, like this YouTube widget. It's just you push it and it opens YouTube. What's the point of that? So the widgets, they definitely need some work. Actually, all the applications really need some work. The biggest problem I'm having with it is it's unresponsive a lot. So hopefully a firmware update to Android will fix that, but there's just many times where I'm pushing buttons and it doesn't do anything. The navigation software is in beta, and it acts like it's in beta. For the most part, though, it's pretty good and accurate. It has traffic layers and stuff, but the maps are not stored on the phone. So when you're driving, if you go somewhere where there's no cell phone signal, you're going to lose your maps. Big problem. Wish you could install the maps on your memory card. But as of right now, you can't. Overall, I really like the phone. If you're an iPhone user thinking to switch, I would not recommend it yet. But if you're on the Verizon network and you want to stay on the Verizon network, this is the best phone on the Verizon network, and it has the brightest future. I really think Android's going to take off in the next couple months and years, and hopefully it does. This is Brian with redband.com. For the full written review, go to my website, redband.com. Thank you for watching, guys.